stay in your league, and you will get emotional intimacy, you'll get loyalty, you'll get connection, you'll get physical intimacy. You get most things from people in your league, or at least at the same level you're bringing. The reason why these men are turning to OnlyFans models to get that emotional intimacy is because they are refusing to accept the levels of intimacy and connection from the women that are on their same league. So you take a very successful, handsome man, and chances are he's not paying as much to be around women, because he will get them, or he'll stay in his league. But you take a man who has not worked on himself, has not looked after himself, has not been dominant, has not achieved a lot. And I'm not just talking looks wise, I'm talking even as a man. He's not a problem solver, he's not a decision maker, he's not masculine. And he wants emotional intimacy from a 10 out of 10 OnlyFans model. So he has to pay for it. But if he found another woman who is not looking after herself, not a great decision maker, all over the place, overweight, not working out, they'll probably give it to each other. So that emotional intimacy you're seeking is available, but you've just got to accept the level of attractiveness or the level of appeal you have. And men that don't accept their level of appeal will pay for it.
How can you know what league you're in?
Feedback. That's it. So what I mean by this is, if you are constantly chasing people who are not responsive to your messages, don't want to meet up with you, don't want to sleep with you, don't want to touch you, and you're constantly chasing them, and you're thinking, I just have to learn this, or I just have to do this, or I just have to read a few more books, you're swimming in the wrong pool. Whereas how we actually know our league is, you walk into a room, the person you lock eyes with locks eyes with you. Easy. You're playing in the right field. Now, I know I'm saying this, maybe I'm a bit privileged, or maybe you're very tall, and that's maybe we're a bit privileged in saying that. I understand that sometimes you don't like your league. But
how does a woman's league differentiate? Because I think most men have an idea of where they're at.
Yeah.
But most women might have social media feeding into them to change where they are at realistically.
I would say with women, you focus on the men that want to be with you, not the men that want to sleep with you. That's how you know your league. So every woman maybe can get an NFL player or an NBA player to sleep with them. Yeah, that's your sexual league. But in terms of your actual league is, how many of those want a relationship with you? How many of them want exclusivity with you? How many of them want to be with you for longer than just a night? I'm not saying it has to be marriage or whatever, but how many of those invest in you? Investment is a key thing. So you look at all the men, not the men that have slept with you, not the one that have gone to dinner, but how many of them have invested in you? How many of them have been semi-loyal to you? How many of them have done those things? They've warded off alternatives to be with you. That's your level as a woman.
You make good money in your day job. Just put money in a deal with me. I'll send you a monthly check. Well, Pace, I want to go through agony and pain, and I want to have bloody knuckles, and I want to get yelled at and screamed at by every seller, and I want to struggle. I want to learn how to underwrite and paperwork, and do it. Or you could just get a monthly check and just jump in a deal with me. The highest level of investor
be a silent partner?
Is to be a silent partner that's chilling and getting a monthly check. That's by far. And you know what I'm trying to do in my life? Be you.
Propecia, you was taking Propecia to grow your hair. But
Yeah, still taking it.
there are some side effects that comes along with it, though.
I had that. You talking about a boner? I had the no boner, and you know what? I started taking Propecia. My friend goes, "Watch out, it your dick up," and I was like, "Oh no!" And right after he said that, I couldn't get hard.
Really?
It got in my head.
Yeah.
It was all mental. And then eventually I realized, wait a minute, I can get hard whenever I want, but that guy got in my head. It's all in my head, and then I got better. But it took like a good 6 months.
So let's just say, for the sake of argument, you had to, you could have hair, but that wasn't going to happen down there.
No, I would.
You'll be bald?
I'd go bald, yeah. I would. I mean, I'd look like, I'd look like Tyrese. I'd be bald in a second. But now kids have boner pills. Like, I know, like 20-year-olds taking boner pills because they're like, I don't want to have the risk, just to be sure. And I'm like, man, you got it made. I had to, if I was in front of a naked woman without a boner, I had to tap dance, tell a story. I mean, it made a man out of you. It was like built character. And they could just old people go, these kids are soft. I'm like, no, they're hard. They're rock hard. They got Blue Chew and all this shit.
Yeah, Rose Sparks, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't know what they
Viagra.
got. Yes. And we had Viagra when I was younger, but it was like a Bob Dole thing. Like old people took Viagra.
But I don't know if it's necessarily for to do that. I think it's for the enhancement. You want to be like a porn star.
Got it.
Yeah, okay. You want to be able to keep going and going and going and going.
I thought it was just in case it didn't work.
Nah. I think that's for, you want to be like, if I'm a good quarterback. I want to be Tom Brady today. That's what I'm going. I want to be LeBron James today. Yeah,
LeBron's better. Tom Brady, his wife left him.
Come on, man.
Started the Tybo guy or whatever.
Tom's a great guy though.
I know.
Have you ever met Tom?
I would love to. I'm a fan.
He's great. He's better than advertised, I promise you.
No, I like him. I love the roast. That was awesome.
Would you do a hair transplant?
I would, yeah. I've had all my friends not all my friends, but about 10 guys I know have done it, and
Big
you know
Wheel
them
Turkey?
too. No, they do it in the city now.
It's expensive though.
It
A
is.
lot of people go to Turkey because it's probably half the price.
Right. Yeah.
And
I
they
don't
transfer a lot more follicles.
know. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh. What about you?
Not, bro.
You're hanging on?
Nah, yeah. When they leave it's gone.
You're not going to turkey it up?
No.
Damn.
Because the thing is, like, when you get a hair transplant, you really can't work out for like 6 to 8 weeks. I lose my mind if I couldn't work out.
Oh, wow. I didn't
You
know
can't,
that.
cause you can't get it wet. You got to let it grow in.
Oh, right.
Yeah, you can't sweat it out. You can't wash. You can't do anything.
Damn.
Yeah,
That's a long time.
it is.
And I'm a performer. I got to be on stage.
Yeah.
So what am I going to do? I got a doll hair coming out of my head. That's terrifying. But my friend, comedians that have done it, and they hide it well.
Yeah.
That's code Shannon to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right.
It took me, I'm 53, it took me probably to like my late 40s to figure out the incredibly cliche thing that when a woman, particularly a woman I'm in a relationship with, is telling me about something that's upsetting to her, that she doesn't want me to fix it. That sometimes she wants me to fix it. And by the way, I'm exceedingly good at solving problems. People pay me $1,000 an hour to solve complex problems for them, right? So I'm great at it. So I'm like, oh my God, this is my toolkit. This is great. This is my toolkit. Like, you're telling me a problem you're having with your sister, or you're telling me a problem you're having with your boss. I solve problems for a living, really complicated ones. This is gonna be great. I'm highly qualified for this, and I'm gonna be a champion, and then you're gonna go, Jim, you're the best ever. I love you so much, let's go have sex. But in fact, very often, what they want is not, well, here's what you should do. You should talk to this person. And you should say, well, have you tried doing X, Y, Z? They want, wow, that must have been hard. Like, that sucks. I'm really sorry that happened. Like, they just want connection, empathy, sympathy, for you to hear and sort of like be present and hold space.
I think the number one thing is people have to think about their health too. I mean, there's a lot of bodybuilders in particular and wrestlers that have passed away at early ages.
Right.
And
right.
drugs are no bueno.
I know,
they're not good for people. So.
Well, when you look at the muscles, the heart is a muscle, and the same thing that's going on with your bicep is going on with your heart.
Yes.
And so the musculature of the heart starts expanding, but the valves don't expand.
Las mujeres no valoran cuando un hombre las quiere. No lo valoran porque ellas creen que ellas lo hicieron. Imagínate tener el ego tan descolocado. Ese es el problema de la era de la mujer narcisista. Tienen el ego tan descolocado que cuando un hombre las quiere, creen.
My arms grew bigger and fuller than they ever have. But don't just take my word for it. I asked the top natural bodybuilders and muscle growth researchers the same question. If you could only pick one biceps exercise and one triceps exercise, what would you pick? And they all pointed to the same two weird exercises I've been using. So like most people, I started in the gym with just standard bicep curls. And I'm not gonna lie, they did the job. But after I passed my newbie gains phase, my arms became a lot harder to grow. And that's when I started learning more about the potential downsides of regular curls. They challenge your biceps mostly in the middle position when your arm is flexed. But this is a similar type of challenge your biceps already get from back exercises like rows and pull-ups, which also tend to be most difficult when your arm is in that same position. Plus, because the biceps cross all the way over the shoulder, exercises like dumbbell curls don't stretch your biceps as much as they could be by exercises where your arms stay behind you, which, at least based on research for other muscle groups, seems to be a powerful way to stimulate more growth. But to discover the best exercise for your biceps, scientists from a brand new 2025 study ran an exercise comparison. They split participants into two groups. One group did only incline curls for 8 weeks, whereas the other group did preacher curls. Now, although both these exercises work the biceps, the challenge they place on them is actually very different. During incline curls, your arms hang behind your body, providing an even greater stretch on the biceps. But the exercise is still hardest right around the middle, just like regular curls. With preacher curls, however, your arm is placed in front of your body, so the biceps aren't stretched as much.
People, sometimes the most powerful, successful, dominant men are utterly terrified of the women they're in relationships with. It's shocking to me because it is not how I am wired in relationship. Like, I am not someone who's like afraid to tell someone something they don't want to hear. Because I think it's a surefire recipe for being miserable in relationship, is like giving people uncomfortable, like avoiding uncomfortable truths by giving them comfortable lies is a sure way to like not get what you want and to ultimately disappoint them in a big way. And I told my sons when they started dating, I was like, you have to learn how to disappoint a woman. Just a little. It's okay. Like, she's not going to die. She's going to be disappointed. Yeah, like, learn how to disappoint a woman. Like, a woman would tell you, if she's being honest, like, yeah, learn how to disappoint me a little so that you don't disappoint me a lot by pretending that things are true that aren't, or pretending you feel things you don't. Like, it's okay to disappoint me a little and to say, I know this disappoints you a little, but X, Y, and Z, because it's true. And I don't want to not tell you the truth. I want to be candid with you. I want you to know the truth. There's something really valuable about that. And again, sometimes women they're like, well, I don't want that to be. Okay, I know. And I know it's disappointing. But, you know, like, I'm strong enough to tell you the truth. I'm strong enough to tell you things you don't want to hear.
I've said it before, I'll say it again. The first rule of compounding is to never interrupt it unnecessarily. And the fastest way to interrupt compounding is to lose money. It sounds obvious, too obvious. Like telling someone not to stick their hand in a fire. But the world is full of people with burned hands. I've been investing for more than half a century. I've seen markets rise, collapse, recover, and collapse again. I've seen geniuses go broke and ordinary people get rich. And if I had to boil it down to one idea, it's this. The people who survive are the ones who avoid stupidity better than they chase brilliance. Let me give you an example. In the 1930s, I was a kid in Omaha. The Great Depression was not some chapter in a history book. It was life. Men with good jobs were selling apples on the street. Families were losing their homes. You could buy a nice farm for the price of a used car. The lesson was simple. If you took on debt and the tide went out, you drowned. If you stayed conservative, you survived. I watched families destroyed not by bad luck, but by overconfidence. They thought tomorrow would look like yesterday. It didn't. The Depression cured me of optimism about human rationality. People don't learn as quickly as you'd hope. Fast forward to the 1970s. Inflation was eating people alive. Stocks collapsed. Oil prices quadrupled. Once again, many so-called smart people lost fortunes because they borrowed too much, believed too much, and thought they were entitled to easy wealth. I wasn't a genius. I was just cautious. I avoided debt. I avoided hot tips. I avoided chasing whatever was fashionable. And because I avoided losing big compounding, worked quietly in the background, year after year, decade after decade, it's worth repeating. Not losing is more important than winning. People hate hearing that. They want to win big. They want to triple their money by Tuesday. That urge destroys more wealth than poverty ever did. Think about the gamblers in Las Vegas. The lights on the strip are not paid for by winners. They are paid for by losers who thought they had a system. The stock market is no different. The casinos are just bigger and better dressed. I remember once investing in a company that looked cheap, a real cigar butt deal. You know, the type 1 puff, left, and maybe you get a free smoke. Well, the smoke was free, but the stink stayed with me for years. I learned to stop buying garbage just because it looked cheap. Cheap junk is still junk. That mistake probably cost me more money than I care to count. But it taught me something better than any textbook. The price of avoiding stupidity is much lower than the price of fixing stupidity. So if you want to know how to never lose money, start by cutting out the obvious disasters. Don't borrow money you can't repay. Don't buy what you don't understand. Don't trust people who make money selling advice. And don't ever believe you're smarter than the market. You can make a fortune simply by surviving. Warren and I never tried to get rich quick. We just tried not to go broke. That small difference compounds into something enormous over a lifetime. So here's my advice. Forget brilliance. Forget being clever. Forget trying to outsmart everyone in the room. Just make fewer dumb mistakes. That alone will make you rich. And if you don't like the sound of that, go ahead and chase the next hot stock tip. The market will be happy to take your money. If you want to ruin your life and your portfolio, envy will do the job faster than any market crash. Envy is the dumbest sin. Why? Because it doesn't even make you feel good. Lust can be fun. Gluttony at least tastes good. Pride feels nice for a while. But envy is like drinking poison and waiting for the other person to die. I've watched people make perfectly good money, live perfectly decent lives, and still end up miserable because someone else did slightly better. Their neighbor drove a nicer car, their classmate bought a bigger house, their colleague got rich faster. Suddenly they were no longer content. They started taking stupid risks just to catch up. That urge destroys investors. Instead of sticking to sound principles, they chase whatever seems to be working for someone else. Tech stocks in the 1990s, real estate in 2006, crypto in 2021. Different years, same stupidity. Warren and I never wasted much time on envy. We didn't care if someone else doubled their money while we were sitting still. We knew sitting still with the right asset was often the smartest move. It's not easy, but it's simple. Back in the dot-com bubble, the late 1990s, everyone was bragging about internet stocks. We looked like fools for not joining. Some of those stocks went up 10 times in a year. Our friends were paper rich while we looked boring and old-fashioned. Well, a couple of years later, most of those paper fortunes turned into ashes, and boring old Berkshire Hathaway kept compounding. Envy cost those people fortunes. They weren't satisfied with their own game, so they copied someone else's badly. They thought they could leapfrog their way to glory. Instead, they jumped off a cliff. Envy also makes people miserable long before it makes them broke. I've known rich men who couldn't enjoy their yachts because someone else had a bigger one. That's not living, that's slavery. One of my favorite lines is, "Someone will always be getting richer faster than you, so what?" That attitude will keep you sane. It might even keep you alive. The truth is, most envy-driven moves look like brilliance for a short time. You get lucky, you brag, people think you're a genius. Then the tide goes out, and suddenly you're exposed naked, broke, and embarrassed. Here's the punchline. You don't need to win every race. You only need to avoid losing your shirt. The person you envy today might be bankrupt tomorrow. And if you're sensible, you'll still be standing. So the cure for envy is simple. Stop looking at the scoreboard. Focus on your own game. The race is long, and most runners won't finish. Your only job is to stay in the race without tripping over your own stupidity. That's how you win, by not trying to keep up with the idiots. I've made plenty of mistakes, some small, some expensive, and one or two that probably cost me a fortune. People like to imagine that Warren and I sat in an ivory tower making perfect decisions all day. That's nonsense. We screwed up plenty. We just avoided the kind of screw-ups that put you out of business. One mistake I still think about was underestimating how valuable some businesses would become if left to compound for decades. We passed on things that looked too expensive at the time, Coca-Cola, before we...
There's really only two amounts of money, enough and not enough, period.
That's interesting.
And representing billionaires, I can tell you, if $100 million isn't enough money, no amount of money is going to be enough money. You know, money offers you real solutions to imaginary problems and imaginary solutions to real problems. Like if you're lonely, money's not going to solve the problem of your loneliness. Like that's a real problem, and money will offer you an imaginary solution to that problem. You can go to the club and everybody will hang out with you for the night because you're paying for bottle service. That's not an actual solution to the problem of loneliness. Like it's an imaginary solution to the problem of loneliness.
Yeah.
And the real problems that money solves are not real. Like I can't afford this particular brand of handbag. Like,
you'll get that handbag and it's just eventually another handbag. Like it's never enough handbags. Like, these are distractions people create to sort of, distract their attention from the inevitability of their own demise and the unhappiness and disconnection they have. Like, you could be miserable, and I've learned very quickly doing what I do that you can be miserable in the penthouse and you could be really, really happy in a crappy studio apartment.